All right, let's begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good day to all of you. My name is Ahmad Hafizi bin Ibrahim. I'm 25 and I'm from Kuala Lumpur. And before we get into any part of the presentation, I would like to express my gratitude to the people that invite me to give this presentation. Thank you for giving me the chance. So, as for the theme that I have chosen for InnoTech 2026, is communication. And as for the topics, it is titled, When Will We See Each Other as Humans? So, let's get right into it. When will we see each other as human in a world that has never been more connected? As we all know, communication has never been any easier. Technology has removed barriers to communication. There's stuff that you can use, apps, messaging apps, social medias, even conference like this. All of this thing has made communication easier in a way that right now, distant doesn't really translate that you are not communicating anymore, because this tool can be utilized to communicate with people that are very far away from you. But why, when we have all of these tools, why do we still feel more disconnected than ever nowadays? I think part of the reason why is because there's abundance of messages, and yet we try to understand all of them, but we don't have the time for it. So there are more messages, and yet we don't really understand what those messages are about. Because there are more, you have to choose which one you have to understand. And that make us feel disconnected to the part where we don't give time to understand the other messages. So now the there is more notification and yet less attention. Check your phone. There are probably so many notifications there. They're just floating around, and you probably don't even plan to give attention to any of it. Or maybe some of it, like I said before, we are selective to the thing that we want to give attention to nowadays. And for the third one, there are more conversation that occurred because right now, like I said, distance is not really a problem anymore since we can use these tools to conversate with anyone, even far away. More conversation, but yet we are less present during those conversations. Why do I feel like this? I think even as we speak with other people and they are in front of us, we tend to see that not they're not really paying full attention to us. Some of them are playing on their phone. They're probably watching something else as you speak. And that translates into a weird dynamic of you being there, but the present is not really felt. So you're just there. And imagine nowadays where things are online, you don't even know what are they doing. So are they truly listening to us, or are we just background noises for their calls or their phones? Since I mentioned background noises, let's differentiate between noise in conversation and meaningful conversation. Noise tend to be constant. It's just because people are trying to fill in the gap of silence to avoid awkward interaction. Meaningful one tend to be intentional. Maybe you're trying to understand the other person, empathize, or even just be a listening ear to them. Noise tend to be more reactive. Because like I said, it's just to fill in the gap of silence. You might not be thinking about what you said, or it could be hurtful, but since you are reactive, it still happen anyway in conversation. But the meaningful one tend to be more thoughtful. Maybe the silence is there because people are trying to understand what you're trying to say. And lastly, noise tend to be more expected because, like I said, the person is saying something and expecting for the other person to reply back or saying something. So instead of being genuine, it just become like an obligation that you have to reply back. As for the meaningful one, it tend to be more genuine. it could lead to awkwardness, but I think since you are being genuine, it can also create more meaningful conversation. And let's focus on this visual that I have prepared in the slide. So if communication were a pie chart, at least for my daily life, this is probably what it represents. And I have to say, I have to clarify, this is not a statistic of facts, but just a reflection from my observation daily. Most people tend to be more responsive. They respond to other people. Some are willing to wait before they are responding, and some are just listening, which is a good thing. But most of the time, understanding is a very little part of conversation. Some are just responding, maybe to create hype, maybe to be supportive, but do they truly understand the essence of the message that has been sent? I'm not really sure, but most of the time, even for me, I tend to not really understand. I'm just there as a present, which is quite sad to talk about. And I put distraction there because, like I said before, some people, even if they are in front of you, they are distracted by the thing around them. Maybe their phones, maybe watching something else, not really paying attention to what you said. So I put it there as well. Since that is the representation of what conversation tend to feel like, at least for me in daily life, what get lost along the way when that is the thing that people do? First of all, the thing that people do less is understanding because they're not really there. It's connected presence as well because, like I said, you are in front of them, but you're not really paying attention to them. So most probably you're not trying to understand the person in front of you. It become like just a connection of physical rather than authenticity, rather than you being there genuinely trying to be there for the person. It just becomes something like an obligation or rather just something that I have to do, but not really what I want to do. I feel like something practical that we can do to lessen this effect in reality, just seeing people as human again. A customer is a person, no matter how rude they are. A classmate is a person. A colleague is a person. Everyone is human in the end. And I feel like people carry thoughts and emotion that are invisible to others unless they communicate with each other. So yeah, knowing that, we can probably have more intentional conversation where we try to genuinely connect with them and try to understand them instead of just coldly rejecting them because they are different from us. Because I feel like perhaps we will see each other as humans when we listen to understand, not simply to respond. That is all from me. Thank you very much.